Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back. DLT, we're on week 6. All right. We have talked about optimizing our diet. Hopefully, you are incorporating more and more whole foods, finding ways to push out the processed foods. Intermittent fasting, so increasing that as you feel ready. We started off with a goal of 3 days. And if you're ready, let's bump it up to 4 or 5 or most days, wherever you are. I know we're all in different places as you feel ready for it. And then last week was moving our body and getting uh, our any way we can, just getting our body moving. It doesn't have to be crazy studio workouts, or it doesn't even have to be the gym. It could be getting out in the garden, going for walks with your dog, just enjoying some movement every day with a goal of at least like 5 or 10 minutes to start with to get you in the routine of incorporating it in every day. And then as you feel ready, increasing it. And then we're going into improving our overall well-being today with some other things. Sleep being the main one, but we'll get there. All right, so hopefully you're using that plating, the idea of plating, that strategy, still using the hunger scale to kind of determine your fast, if you're getting enough in your meals, and if you're staying full between meals, paying attention to that hunger scale so you know if you need to increase. Grab a handful of nuts at the end of a meal, or add an avocado to a meal, or add some healthy oils. Lots of ways to increase our healthy fats so that we're also increasing our satiety levels and able to maintain that fast between our meals as well. And then cutting out the sugar. So that's a continuous goal as well. Let me know how y'all are doing though. Let me know in the chat box. What's going well? What's still feeling very difficult or somewhat difficult or challenging? And if you have any ideas for others, let us know. Trying to think if I have any new ideas. Yesterday I made an egg and all. No, I was going to make egg and olive salad. I ended up just doing egg salad, and that was really good. I love that in the springtime. I had some leftover dill, like fresh dill from a meal that I made, and green onion, and I just threw that in there with salt and pepper, egg, and a little bit of mayonnaise, and put it over some salad greens. And I always put olive oil and balsamic vinegar over my spinach. I did that with egg salad on top. It was really good. So that's my idea for the week is egg salad. All right. So back to last week's topic, in case you weren't with us, and as a reminder, we want to work up to 150 minutes of aerobic activity. I believe that breaks down to, I have to use my calculator every time, 30 minutes for 5 days a week. Or if you want to do every day, that'd be about 21 minutes a day. So if you got like a 20-minute walk-in every day, that would knock that goal out. And then 2 days a week of muscle strengthening activity. So doing something that makes sure muscles work a little bit harder than usual. It could be yoga. It could be Pilates. It could be doing your own little routine of push-ups, squats, sit-ups, things like that. You could use hand weights. You could, my favorite is Peloton. I love the Peloton app. If I didn't tell y'all about that last week, Peloton app is my favorite thing to use. It is like $12.99 a month, and it's always on demand, and you can pick through a million classes. You can pick how long you want to work out. So it's really customized to what you need for that day, and then what kind of workout you want to do. So that's how I get my muscle strengthening activity in. My 2 girls keep my aerobic activity going like 24/7. So there's that. But even 5 minutes of activity is going to give you some health benefits and just get you into the routine of doing it. So getting started with that. It's so pretty outside. It's a great time to start walking. All right. And then we talked about reducing our stress because remember, even if we're in a perfect state of fasting, and if we end up getting stressed out by something, our cortisol is going up, our insulin's going up, our blood sugar is going up, and then our fat storage is turned on. So I talked about some ways to reduce your stress by doing simple meditation or getting good sleep is another one, which I'm going to go into today. Exercise, that's a win-win on the goals. Finding ways to relax. And you might even like have to write down a list of ways to relax. Like, how can you chill out for a minute? And then time management is always super helpful in reducing stress. Um, I've been having the girls on my own for like the last couple of months. My husband travels once a week, and that morning is is all time management for me. Like I would not survive the stress of being a single parent for one day a week without time management. But I am fasting, so I'm like, we're going to keep our stress levels down. We're going to get out the door on time. But it's hard and it takes practice. Something you really, really have to focus on. Okay, let's dive into sleep and energy though, because this is also a good one that's going to increase your longevity. I actually read that in a Harvard article this morning, is getting 7 hours of sleep will increase your longevity. So we need it not just to help us with our everyday well-being and help our mindset so that we can think clearly, but also it's going to make us live longer if we can get our sleep in. And there are things that sabotage our weight loss, and one of the big ones is lack of sleep. We may not consider it, but it definitely does. So, this is what's happening when we're not getting the sleep that we need. And I know people are like, yeah, I get 5 hours or I get 4 hours. People tell me the craziest amount of hours that they sleep. It's so important and it can be such a game changer for you. All right, listen to this. Our tendency to gain weight when we do not have the sleep we need. Our hormones are affected. We have an increase in ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone. And so if we're not getting proper sleep, we're hungrier the next day. You might think, this is the fasting that's making me hungry, but it might be your lack of sleep. You have a decrease in leptin, which is your fullness hormone. So even when you've eaten, you're still hungry. Increased cortisol, which is your fat storage. And you should know that by now. Decreased insulin sensitivity. So all those things are going to have us give us a tendency to gain weight. And then we have our brain influence from lack of sleep. Our frontal cortex is dulled. Our reward center is enhanced. And therefore, we're going to make poor decisions about our health. When the reward center is enhanced, that means we're searching for things in our behavior down here. We're searching for things to fulfill rewards. We feel like we need more rewards because our body is tired. So we're looking for maybe more caffeinated beverages, more high sugar foods because they give us that instant energy, a desire to rest increases. So, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand with less energy, more rest. And then, therefore, exercise is probably going to be put on the back burner when we're tired. And that makes sense, right? So this was a really interesting article I found regarding food timing, our circadian rhythm, and our nutrition. So it's a systematic review of time restricted eating's effects on our health. And the background of the study is that growing evidence suggests that the extension of daily food period is the source of metabolic disorders. So reducing the daily feeding window may represent a strategy to improve our health markers. So down here, you'll see the systematic review on time-restricted eating diets, and they include eating patterns in which daily food consumption is restricted to an 8 to 12 hour or less window. So what we're doing here is our fasting. And then over here, the study goes on to say not only the timing of our food, but also the timing of our other behaviors, like our sleep, like our exercise. And this pattern that we're creating through a circadian clock can all influence our health markers. So we need restriction within our eating. We need time to rest from eating. We also need time to rest our body. We also need time to activate our body. And it's really helpful if we can get the circadian rhythm balanced out. So the results were time restricted eating is a well tolerated intervention that induces a 20% unintentional calorie restriction. So you're not even having to count calories, and you're getting an unintentional 20% that you probably won't even notice, because your main focus is getting the correct amount of energy in those 2 meals that you're eating a day, right? So if you're fasting till lunch, you're eating lunch and dinner, you're getting the calorie restriction, but you're also getting the satiety. Like, you're not having to be hungry. Time restricted eating generates beneficial metabolic effects independently of calorie restriction and weight loss. And then these effects may result from the realignment of food intake and our circadian clock. So, balancing it all out, the eating, sleeping, the movement, the eating, the sleeping, the movement. A healthy clock, this is what it's going to look like. It has sleep, starting at the very top, alertness, cognitive ability, cardiovascular ability and muscle strength, blood pressure, liver function, pancreas release of insulin and glucagon, and muscle reaction time. So you should have improved sleep quality, your mood, your metabolism, your cardiovascular health, and an overall decreased risk in disease with a healthy clock. So behaviors that improve your circadian health and promote healthy aging is time restricted feeding, which we're working on, healthy light exposure, get out and get some walking in, and some regular and sufficient sleep. All right. A disrupted clock will give us poor sleep. This is poor sleep quality, depression, mental health, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, fatty liver disease, insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, and impaired muscle function. Overall, decreased sleep quality, mood, metabolism, cardiovascular health, increased risk for disease. And this can be a result of shift work, jet lag, just aging, and then having an erratic lifestyle. So not getting our life on a normal ticking clock. Doesn't have to be the exact same every day, but your body will do better when it knows what to expect. Here's our recommended hours of sleep. Most of us are over here in the adult range, so we need 7 or more. And now there's a wide range of recommendations on if you need 7, 8, or 9. So if you get 7 at the minimum, you're doing good. That is sufficient sleep. It may not be all that you need. Maybe you need 8 or 9 because we're all different. I would love 9 hours of sleep every night, and I feel amazing when I get it. But 7 is good. Anything less than that, I feel terrible. Terrible. Like, my body does not function like that. So getting those 7 hours. Here's some tips on how to get better sleep. Try going to bed and waking up at the same time each day. I know that's hard to do, especially when I just said it doesn't have to be the same every day. But if you can get like within a range, maybe, so my goal is to go to bed between like 9 and 10 each night. So maybe you have like a window, and then I wake up at the same time every day. I wake up at 4:50 every morning. Now, finding ways to relax before you go to bed each night is also really important. So try not to go to bed with a million things on your mind that you're going to wake up in the middle of the night thinking about. Relaxing. Take a shower, take a bath, go for a walk outside before you get in bed, do some stretching, do some reading, listen to a podcast. Any other ideas? Let me know in the chat. Anything that you do that helps you unwind at night. Sometimes I'll grab a cup of decaf tea and drink that while I read in bed at night, and that's super relaxing. And they do make like special sleepy tea that you could get, but definitely decaf if you're going to drink something. Avoid distractions. I know this is so hard, but try to set the cell phone down, the computer down. Try not turning the TV on. So one thing that I worked with a participant on is she liked to watch TV with her husband before going to bed. So, and I've had my husband be like, "Can you just like hang out with me for a little while?" Sure. Okay, but like set a time. And she would set an alarm on her phone. Set a time when you're going to go start your bedtime routine, like, and you're going to start unwinding. So maybe you hang out and you do watch TV like out in the living room or on the patio till 8 o'clock. And then you start kind of making your way towards bed, or maybe it's 9 o'clock. I know people go late to bed later than I do. But do the TV like outside of your bedroom if you're going to do it. Or your phone or computer. If you're going to do any of that, do it outside of the bedroom, and then like set an alarm or a time when you're going to go to bed and start winding down without the electronics. Another big tip is not to eat a large meal late in the day. So eating larger meals, especially like large dinners, you want to give yourself a couple hours before going to bed to let all that food digest. But if it's so large that you're still full when you're getting to bed, that can disrupt your sleep. So think about that. And then exercising at regular times can help. Again, just regulate the circadian rhythm of your internal clock. All right, so our goals this week: continue the fasting with our whole foods, focus on increasing movement so that we can simultaneously reduce stress, and then let's focus on our sleep and our energy. And I have the sleep diary I'm going to give you to use if you want. I'm going to put in the chat box. Does gum break a fast even if it is sugar-free? So typically gum has a sweetener in it. So sugar-free gum is typically going to have like sucralose, I believe, in it. So yes, that will turn on your digestive juices. So keep that in mind. Let me find our tracker. Hold on one second. Yes, I'll grab that. And then I'll go over this. Let's see if this tracker works. So no gum. No gum. No gum or candy or anything like that when you're fasting. All right, so here's the tracker. You can complete in the morning what time you went to bed, what time did you put your devices away, what time did you try to go to sleep, how long did it take you to go to sleep, what time did you wake up, how many times did you wake up during the night, how long were you awake during the night, and then how many hours or minutes you slept. And then you can rate your quality of your sleep. Was your sleep disrupted by any factors? You can list those, and then you can write any comments. So it's just a 7-day tracker. And then in the evening, you can track things like the last time you had caffeine, how much energy you had during the day, did you get your exercise in? I bet most of us are not taking a nap, but 99% of us are not getting a nap. But if you are, good for you. And then approximately 2 to 3 hours before going to bed, I consumed alcohol, or a heavy meal, caffeine, nothing, water. Okay, so the other night, Friday night, we had friends in town, and They were drinking, and I cannot handle like more than a glass of wine. So I'm drinking water, and we're up till midnight. I'm drinking water the whole time. I think I waterboarded myself because that night I woke up probably 6 times to go to the bathroom. It was awful. I mean, it was worse than like being like drinking. I mean, it was just worse than it was the worst night of sleep. I drank too much water. I don't think that's ever happened to me, but would have been nice to track that night so I knew what I was doing. What did your nighttime routine include? And then again, here's another 7 days if you want to do 2 weeks of it. I would say 7 days is probably a really great start, though, if you want to track what's going on, how long are you sleeping, what's affecting you, and all those things. So that is the final tip and takeaway for the week. Any other questions or comments or suggestions? All right. Get some better sleep this week and increase our fasting and our exercise. All the things. When you have yogurt and peanut butter or ricotta, do you have veggies with it? I have a hard time getting enough vegetables, fibers, and per day if I eat 2 meals a day and don't have any with one of those meals. Um, Let me think. Yogurt and peanut butter. Typically, I do that with fruit. Ricotta. Oh, I think ricotta. So our registered dietitian on the team has a recipe with like cottage cheese and tomatoes and cucumbers and onion. And you can probably do that with ricotta too. So you could do something like that. I'll send you the recipe. I need to send y'all, I'm gonna send y'all, if y'all like it, I'm gonna send y'all the 3 days or the 3 meal ideas for the week, just to kind of get your wheels turning on ways you can use the different whole foods to make meals. I don't know if that's helpful to y'all, but I'll include that recipe that she gave me recently with the cottage cheese and veggies. And then other things I'll do to get vegetables in, chocolate. Yeah, chocolate's hard. Um, Breaking away from chocolate, I'll come up with an idea for that for this week's 3 meals. And then another thing is just buying raw veggies. Like you can buy them in a bag and getting hummus or guacamole if you like either one of those and doing dip like that. If you want to do that like with your meal, you could totally do that. And a lot of times I know it's hard, like when you're cooking or you're getting home from work and you're about to eat. If you did something like raw veggies and hummus or guacamole, I think that would be totally fine. One thing that I probably haven't hit on is that you have about an hour window that you should eat. So if you started like at 5, try to finish by 6. So if you're not doing the plating method or you're having trouble with it, try to use like the veggies and dip prior to your meal. And that'll help you get more veggies in too and healthy fats. All right, I'll send y'all like a recipe idea for both of those questions. Anything else? Leave it in the chat box. I'll see it. And I'll see y'all next week. Reach out if you need anything. Bye, everyone.